Yo, man, it's your boy 11-1. Baby on the 7D4. Take the 7 and the 4, that's 11 mo. I'm kickback. Spitting facts in the man cave, man. Sipping on the bud that made me wiser. Oh, man. Look here, this is the extended version. Probably ain't gonna do no videos for a while, so I'm gonna just try to get as much out as I can, see how long I can go. Now, it all started on All Saints Day in 1974. That's 11-1. I tell you that 11-1, and that 7 and the 4 is 11 mo. 7 and 11 is not lucky numbers, man. 7 and 11 is lucky numbers, and then you got that zip code that I was born in on the Cooper Road is 71107. Ah, man. I remember riding home from the first day of school, kindergarten, and they sent a piece of paper home, and I was looking at the zip code, that 71107. I ran in the house and found something with our zip code on it to see if I had the same zip code as the school. So I was curious about that zip code from the very beginning, man. People always told me I was special growing up. Every once in a while, somebody had come across me, whether they knew my birth date or not. They thought I was the one. I was gifted. I was pretty smart, man. Now that I look back on it, before I started drinking beer and smoking cigarettes, man, my memory was pretty good. I had one of them great memories. That's what made me such an excellent test taker. I told you by the time I got in the Army, oh, man, I was thinking pretty good. You go to basic training for 8 weeks, finish that basic training, and then I went to that AIT. Now, that AIT, it was an 8-week course on supply. That's where I got introduced to the government manual, man. Man, government got a manual for everything. The Army got a manual for everything, man. So I say, you ain't got to be real smart to be in the Army. All you got to do is know where to look in the book to find the answer. That little bit of 8-week training set me up, man, with my perspective. And like I say, I was square when I was in the Army, believing in one God and one Son. That was the only thing ever. I heard that God was a woman 3 times in the 90s. First, in that Boys in the Hood. Then in that Tupac song, Hail Mary. And then in 98, I was watching an American sitcom on German TV, and they set up a punchline to a joke, and the punchline was God is a woman. Well, the way they set it up, and after hearing it that 3rd time, I kind of started wondering, man, believing then. I got out the Army in 00. And when I got out the Army, I was still square, going to a Christian church, taking my kids to church, paying bills and running the household. Whole bunch of responsibility, man. Everybody depended on me. And like I say, man, breaking up with Uncle Sam is a hell of a thing to do. He might take care of you on the back end, but them months you got to go through on your own can be some trying months. That Army do a lot for you, man. I didn't have no electric bill when I was in the Army. Got out, bought a house, figuring the house note was the only thing. When I seen that electric bill, it was damn near half the house note. It was damn near half the house note, man. So, I tell you that 9/11, I was square up until 9/11. On 9/11, when I got home from work and I seen that building fall on live TV, I instantly started to question my existence, wondering, why am I here? What is this about? What's going on? Man, I was instantly manic, and I was moving 100 miles an hour, which shouldn't have shocked nobody because I was already moving 100 miles an hour, but this time it was with purpose. Got a vision of the future. Oh, man. On my birthday, after 9/11, I lost my job. They fired me over the phone. I was in the Horseshoe Casino and Hotel in Bossier City, Louisiana. And man, I was in a jacuzzi suite. I dropped me a jacuzzi bath, and I had aired my grievances to the male God. Oh man. And once I finished, man, I didn't expect God to ever talk to me again. And I wasn't going to talk to him. Believing in that one God, one son idea. And I told you 3 weeks after that, I was face down in my front yard, wrestled down by the police, and they put a gun in my head and told me to pray. I had fell out with the male God, so I couldn't really pray, man. The only thing I could say was take care of my kids. So I said, God, take care of my kids. And then I felt that surge of energy in the back of my neck. And I heard a click. And when I heard that click, I opened up my eyes. And the same people that had wrestled me to the ground all raised me up, stood me on my feet. And it started drizzling. Ah, man, it started drizzling. I ended up in LSU. It was the name of the hospital when I was born was Confederate Memorial. So I done made a circle from 74 all the way to 2001. I'm back at LSU in the hospital. Man, I was so geeked up and hyped up. It was the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. After them cops put that gun in my head, I was so geeked up and hyped up that they tied me to a stretcher. And LSU tied me with a stretcher and hit me with I don't know if they hit me with some medicine or not. They hit me with something. And once I passed out, I was at the VA, man. I told the VA what had happened with them police and everything that was going wrong in my life at the time, because I know they would listen. They diagnosed me with that bipolar, man. I left that hospital with some medication. Let me think of the first medication they put me on. Risperidol. That Risperidol didn't do nothing for me. I moved to Prairie View after that. And I was homeless when I first hit Prairie View in December of 01. But by February of 02, I was on my feet. I was in school and had some money coming in. So I was just living life, man, managing then. That's before I got that 100%. When I got that 100%, I went manic, man. Oh, man, I went manic. End up, buying a vehicle and wrecking the vehicle on campus. Police showed up, found a blunt in the car. I ain't had nothing in the car but a little half piece of blunt. And that police dogged me out, man. Embarrassed me. Oh, man. Put me in handcuffs. I wasn't fighting him or nothing, but he was kicking my ass. Kicked my ass in the car. Before he put me in the car, kicked my ass in the holding room and took me to jail. And when I got to the jail, hell, I was so hyped up after all them ass whoopings and handcuffs that all I wanted was a bond. I wanted a bond. Oh, man, the people in the jail was ignoring me. And I was hyped up telling them everything that had happened. I figured they was with the Prairie View law. By this time, I figured everybody is against me. I thought it was the Prairie View law at first, but the way they treated me when I got to that jail the first time, they ain't never treated me like this ever again. But the first time they treated me in that holding cell in the Waller County jail, they wouldn't book me. I was talking all kind of mess. And when I seen they wasn't gonna book me, I laid down and I took a nap. And when I woke up, it was another shift on. I said, hey man, y'all gonna book me? He said, give me a minute. He took me out that holding cell, and I got up out of that jail, running down the damn street like I'm crazy. I'm in there on a misdemeanor. I done caught a whole felony escape, climbing over the wall, falling through to the ceiling to the other side, and it just so happened to be a door there, and the door was, oh man, the door was open. It wasn't nothing but highway. I was striking out running. I'm on the run. Oh man. That police that jumped in his car and jumped out, cut me off and jumped out with that shotgun. I seen him yesterday. Oh man. But anyway, they hog-tied my ass, man. And they put me, oh man, and they put me in a jail cell. They put me in a jail cell, and now I knew I was in trouble, and I was in so much pain being hog-tied. I had never been in that much pain in my life. I knew I had to pray. But like I told you, I hadn't talked to God, the male God, I should say, since after 9/11. This was June of 2003. So I decided to pray to a female. Now, I don't remember what I said, but it must have been pretty good, because the angel appeared in that cell, dropped a tear on my handcuffs, and disappeared. And a little bit after that angel disappeared, they came and untied me, man. Oh, man. That's when I knew that I was crazy. Had to play crazy. Shit. Motherfucker would come up to the jail door and try to talk to me. And I started communicating in another language. I was moving my fingers and clucking. I was clucking. I did that for a while. Sometimes I would talk, but I was in that jail for a while till they sent me to the VA. That was 2003. I don't remember how long. I might have been in, I think if I remember right, I might have been in that jail 18 days before they sent me to the VA. Got into the VA, found out family members was dealing with my money, so I escaped from the VA, ended up in Fort Bend County. Ah, man, you don't ever want to go to Fort Bend County. Don't mess around in Fort Bend County. Fort Bend County got my mind right. They didn't give a damn about me, and I guess they was hoping I'd die. I guess they wasn't gonna kill me, but they was hoping I'd die because I talked so much shit to them people. Oh man. No matter what they did to me, they couldn't break me though. Maybe they broke me. I don't know. I'ma call it a draw. I remember the day they took me out of Fort Bend County. I was going through my morning ritual, and I heard the dude outside talking to somebody else. And he said he does this every day. When I heard that he does this every day, I got a little hope. He was talking to somebody. Turned out he was talking to the people from the VA. And now, they ain't just extract me from the cell. They had a whole process they go through in Fort Bend County to extract your ass from a cell. They gonna open that chute, and they gonna put that water hose on your ass. And you sitting there, goddamn me, that water tearing your ass up. You fighting and moving nowhere to go. You in there butt naked. They put that water on your ass, goddamn me, and they keep that water on your ass till ain't no fight left in your ass. And once you laying there, sitting there, exhausted and all that pain, then they extract your ass. Oh, man, but they put me on a stretcher this time. This time they put me on a stretcher, and I knew I was out of there, man. Spent a long time in the VA after that Fort Bend County. I spent about 2 months in the VA. I got in there in August something, and I got out on my birthday, 11/1/03. 11/1/03. After that, didn't feel safe in Texas no more. So what my crazy self do? Go back to Louisiana. Found an ex-girlfriend that I had pulled a caper with. So shit, I married her. paid everything that had to be paid, and once everything was damn near paid up, I was out of there. Man, I didn't get a marriage a chance. We could have still been together, I guess, but I didn't get a marriage a chance. Got to figure this had happened all after right after I got out the VA, man. My mind, I didn't trust like I wanted, but I was gonna be there for regardless. So marry me was what I put there on the deal, and we ended up having a baby. That baby grown now. But after my baby was born, I was living in Shreveport. I was still going to court in Texas on that escape charge. Fort Bend County, I think they dropped all the charges against me. I done been ran. I ain't got no warrants or nothing in Fort Bend County, and I ain't got no paperwork from them saying anything. Like I say, it was probably by the draw, man. It was probably by the draw. Fort Bend County, they tried to break me, but I'm going to say it was a draw. I don't know if I ever broke. They dogged my ass out pretty good. And I was steady talk shit to them. Like this insane telling the story over and over again. Maurice Moore was a character, man. Maurice Moore was a character, man. Man. So I was in Shreveport going back and forth to Texas. Had sold my vehicle. That vehicle was too damn hot. I shouldn't have never bought something so damn flashy, man. But I sold that flashy vehicle and I was on foot. That's when the trouble started in Shreveport after I sold my car and I was walking and catching the bus. Whole bunch of shit to get into Shreveport. Walking and catching the bus. That's why everybody got cars, I guess. Oh, man. But I'm figuring I'm from here. I can walk the streets. I had a girlfriend, man. After me and my wife broke up, I had a girlfriend. She was young and tender. Sweet as bear me, goddamn me. But I ain't had the money to right then to just go ahead and divorce my wife and marry her. So I'm going to call myself playing the field. She going to be my girlfriend. Shit, that girl put my ass down, man. Hurt my feelings, broke my heart. I had plans for her ass, man. But after I sold my vehicle and I was on foot, I got into so much trouble, man. I just kept running into the law. And, you know, me and the law didn't get along from Fort Bend County in Texas. So now I'm getting along. I'm dealing with the Shreveport law. Oh, man. They ain't had nothing on me. I remember one time I went to jail in Shreveport. I think this is the time that the girl put me down when I told her that they was picking on me. So the story hit the streets. The way she got the story hit the streets. And the word on the street was the police walked into the Burger King and I just started cussing them out. That was actually what happened, man. A lot of times word on the street could be over exaggerated, but there wasn't no exaggeration, man. I seen them laws. One of them I kind of knew, but I guess I didn't know her well enough. She testified against my ass. Got me 10 days in jail. But anyway, they walked in the door. I said, what y'all motherfucking ass doing? I started out like that, man. I talked so much shit. The dude that was with her, he say one more thing, you going to jail. I said something to my sister. I wasn't talking to him, I was talking to my sister. He put them cuffs on my ass. And I talked shit to him all the way to the jail, talked shit in the jail, got bonded out, came back, talked shit to the judge. He gave me 10 days. That 10 days kind of woke my ass up, man. But I was going through it, man. Maurice Moore is always the victim. Keep that in mind. So, I had got put on probation, had my probation transferred to Louisiana. I wasn't on probation 2 months before I had came to Prairie View and fell out with the Prairie View law. That triggered a motion to revoke. And I was living in Louisiana at the time. And this one particular day, my daughter used to go to a daycare. And I didn't like the idea of her being in daycare all day when I ain't got nothing to do. I would rather be with her anyway. So this particular day that I went there to pick up my daughter, because I had done this a couple times before. This particular day, the people was like different. They didn't want me to pick her up. And So I took her with me, and we was rolling down the street in a stroller. I had a stroller and everything. So and the daycare was only like maybe a quarter mile away from where I live. So I just, take a walk with my daughter a quarter mile through the hood. Shit, them daycare people called the police on my ass, man. Them daycare people called the police on my ass. They caught me down the street. Fast response, quick response. I didn't get 2 blocks over before the police showed up. And my baby mama was pulling up behind the police. She run up to me, grabbed the baby, and the police, they were sitting there talking to me. And I told them, I said, man, I do this all the time. I go pick her up. I know she in daycare. Turned out the daycare people didn't like me coming to pick her up because she was on state-run daycare. So they don't get paid for when she not there. I didn't know that at the time. That lady could have just told me that. But at any rate, the police, they let me go. So I leave jogging back to the house. Soon as I get in the yard, here come the police again. God damn. Jumping out on my ass, coming running crazy. I know they coming to get me. So I didn't make it to the door of the house before they had me in handcuffs. And I was like, what's going on? They say you got a fugitive warrant out of Waller County, Texas. I said, oh, man. So they took me to the main jail, the Caddo Parish Detention Center, the main jail. And I guess in my records, man, some kind of way in my records, when they pull it up, everybody know I'm mental. I don't have to tell them nothing. They sit there and stare at that screen when they read the description of Maurice Moore. They sit there and stare at the screen. So I ended up in the men's mental part of the jail. And they stuck me in the cell with this dude named Brian Coleman. Brian Coleman was in there on bank robbery charges. He called telepathy reading minds. He said he was reading minds with a cartoon character, and it convinced him to rob a bank. He had that high-rum key in the cell with him, but he never touched it. Now the word from the guards was that he thought that he was Christ. He never told me he was Christ, but he did say he was a Mason, and he say he was way up there. But he ain't never told me he was Christ. He had that high-rum key in the cell with him, though. And I seen all the religious symbols on that book. And one day I asked him, I say, man, what's in that book? He said some bullshit. I say, you mind if I look at it? I got that high-rum key, man. Read the whole book. Started at chapter 5. That's very important. When I recommend the book to people, I done bought it a whole bunch of times and gave it to people. Nobody seems to be interested. It was monumental for me, man. Monumental for me becoming Christ. I'm getting them goosebumps. Can you see him? Can you see him? That was monumental, man, when I got that high-rum key. Oh, man. Started at chapter 5. Once I finished that high-rum key, I felt like I was Christ. But that's the coincidence. That's how I ended up with that high-rum key. In 2005, everything led me to that book. All the stories that I done told you led me to that book. Once I got that high-rum key, oh, man, I wasn't dealing here on earth no more. I got that high-rum key and a free ride back to Texas. On that fugitive warrant, they came and picked me up. Now, I was in there on a 10-day hold. They say they got 10 days to come get you. Or, you got 10 days to come get you, or we'll let you go. They held me for the whole 10 days and didn't send a message to the 10th day. That's how I ended up spending so much time. But like I say, it took me 3 days to read that book. So once I figured that out, I wasn't mad about them keeping me there because it all led to that high-rum key. And Hiram Key make it all right for anybody to be A1. And I got a free ride back to Texas. And started stargazing. Spent my days, I was on probation, so I didn't go nowhere. Still didn't have a vehicle, but then I ended up getting a vehicle. But I wasn't really leaving Wilder County. I was looking at the sky. I was fascinated at the planes. I could swear the government was watching me, man. Why is they flying all these damn planes over Maurice Moore? That's what I used to be like. And I used to be like pointing out the Cessnas during the day. And I'd be up and looking at the skies at night. I did that for about a year straight. Because you figure on December 18th of 2006, I came outside 2, maybe 3 in the morning. Spaceship called me coming out the house. Spaceship showed up in the southern hemisphere. Looked like about the size of a 747. Oh, man. But then it came in close. And when it came in close, oh, man, it blocked out the sky. You talk about 10-mile diameter, I say easy. Thought about that, had to come up on somebody's radar. Shit, I was standing under that spaceship when it had came in close. It was just hovering above me. I said what I thought would be my last 3 words. Checkmate, Zen Master, Pharaoh. Checkmate because I couldn't make a move. Zen Master because I was studying that Buddha at that time. And then Pharaoh, go back to that Hiram Key. That spaceship took straight up in the air, didn't rustle a tree, didn't make a sound, and disappeared within the blink of an eye. To see something that massive hovering over you is one thing. To see it move that fast, I say we ain't got that. Oh, man. That was from somewhere else. Maurice Moore made contact. Now, I don't know if that made me Christ or not. But the crazy part about that is after that spaceship left, I went back in the house. I had just woke up. I wasn't tired. I laid back down. 7 in the morning, I jumped up on my feet and I started packing. Furiously packing, man. Packing my backpack, my laptop, make sure I got my camera, make sure I got all my little devices, my recorder, everything. I'm going on a mission. Oh, man. I had a vehicle, but I had nowhere to go. I was driving my vehicle that next morning, and it was a Cessna plane following me to my partner house. And when I got to my partner house, I pulled out a map, and I put the map on top of the car. Oh, man. And I was going to figure out where I was going to go, but when that plane came over me, looking at that map, I was spooked about driving. So I borrowed a couple $100 from my partner, and I went and caught the bus. Went and caught the bus. Didn't care where the bus was going, bought a ticket for the first bus that was leaving. Bus was going 111 miles away to Austin, Texas. I didn't realize that till I got on the bus that I was going to Austin. This is all after seeing that spaceship at 2 or 3 in the morning. I stepped off the bus in Austin maybe about 10:30. And as soon as I stepped off the bus, a plane was coming over. Man, a Cessna was coming over. I said, God damn it. They watching me. They watching me here. So I got my backpack, got my stuff, and I started walking. And I was thinking about that spaceship and government tracking and aliens and spaceships. I was running all this stuff through my mind. I was in deep thought while I was walking. And a lady was coming up the side of the sidewalk. And when I got close to her, she heard what I was thinking, and I kind of lost my train of thought. But she heard what I was thinking, and she said, "Oh my God, Christ!" When she heard my thoughts. Oh man, when she was the first. She wasn't the last person to hear my thoughts. That telepathy was working up until they stuck me in that mental institution. That telepathy was working. But I went to a few different places in Austin. I went to this one bar and I had my laptop out and I was typing on my laptop everything that was going on, the story about whatever, contemporaneous, what they call it, notes. I was note taking, man. I was on my laptop. Somebody in the corner started saying 11-1. This was before anybody. This was way back in 2006, man. They started saying 11-1. And whatever it was, I couldn't escape it. Whatever was following me, there was no way I could escape it. So I packed up my backpack. I left that bar walking. I was coming up 6th Street, and a policeman pulled up on me. And he said, I got to take you to jail. I said, what have I done? I only had a couple of beers. I'm on foot. Why you got to take me to jail? He said, no, I got to take you to jail. So I went peacefully. And the jail was about a 1 or 2 minute ride away. And he pulled me out of the back seat of the car and he put me in that holding cell. And when he put me in that holding cell, I felt a little bit of relief. Oh, man. And the first thought that I had in that holding cell, I don't know if you consider it facetious or disrespectful, but the first thought I had in that holding cell was, thank you, Jesus, for as well as it is. God, I think she could pick up on my sarcasm. Oh, man. She said, you're welcome, and pushed away from the desk like she was mad at me. She was the first person that had heard my thoughts that responded like that. And plus, I was in jail and she was in charge, so I was just adding it all up. She got to be the one. In that little bit of time, that little split second, I had added all that up. And I jumped up and I was at the door and I was beating on the door. A split second later, I seen her walking. I said, I knew you was a woman. I knew you was a woman. Tell me what you want me to do. That's when she said, spread the gospel. That threw me for a loop, so I asked the backup question. I say, so you just want them to know that you a woman? That's all Maurice Moore gonna do. Tell them that telepathy is real and you're looking for a woman. But she didn't answer no more questions. Kate walked out of jail. And ended up in the Austin State Hospital. Wasn't no telepathy going on in there, man. That brought me back down to earth. They let me out of that hospital on the 28th of December in Austin. And I was riding back on the 28th of December in 2006. I was on my way back from Austin after having that telepathic experience. And I was thinking on the bus, yep, I'm definitely the one. Not the one, a one. Not the one. I don't want to confuse you because Christ is a title. It ain't exclusive to one person. That's the whole story of Maurice Moore in about 33 minutes, man. Remember, everybody got their own path. I ain't saying you got to break up with the male God. I ain't saying you got to go through in and out of it with the law enforcement to find a deeper meaning. That's the path that was laid out there for me. All you got to do is consider that feminine side of God. Like I told you that story about that angel appearing. I was gung-ho. In 2003, looking for a woman. By 2006, that spaceship showed up. And what's the prerequisite to the spaceship? That Hiram key. That Celestine prophecies came much later. Years later, after I got a smartphone. I didn't have a smartphone from 2007 till after 11/1/11. I was totally off the grid. Still kind of off the grid now, but man, all I got is the story. It ain't spreading. It's your boy, man. I'm surprised if you make it this long. This is the longest video I ever done, but that's the whole story. It's your boy, 11-1.